Right. Please write down the heading, creating GUI application using Python. So we already learned how to create CLI applications. CLI means what is command line interface. So what we have created already using Python, these applications, all these applications that we have created are command line because it's executed in the this IDLE environment. And I also said there's a possibility to run this using the terminal, or you can use terminal or command line, command prompt in the Windows to run these applications. I think you already know that, right? How to run this using command line? Do you know or don't know? Hello?
Open command.
Yeah, you have to open. So here, if this is the file, for an example, if this is the file, so this is this file is located in users Dasun Niranjana document right in py.py. So this is the file. And if I want to run or execute the file, I have to go to the command prompt. So in your case, it is command prompt. In my case, it's terminal. So in the terminal, I'm in the Dasun Niranjana folder where I have to navigate to the next folder, documents. Can move like CD documents. And now I'm inside the documents folder. And then I can execute this right in py.py by typing Python. I can either try to execute the file. Let's try to execute the file right in py. Sorry, so long .py. Let's type the file name, so it's not running. So let's run with Python command, Python 3, then the file name, right in .5. So now you can see it's asking my details. So I can enter my name and asking the marks. So it's running. So this is called command line. Right, enter marks and then asking the next one, Dasun, and you can give the details. So anyway, it's running similar to the Python shell. Right, let's do it in Windows. Can you share the screen in Windows? I just want to see whether you know it, how to do it in Windows. So can you share the screen? I have given the permissions, now you can. Please share the screen quickly. Okay, please go to command line. You can just search command line. Yes, command prompt. And then you can go to the folder where Python file is saved. So can you remember the folder? Just open the IDLE and then you can open the file and see. IDLE open current and then you can go to the recent files and see them. All right, if you know the location, that's okay. It's in the documents. Is it? Documents and yeah, okay, hello file or whatever. So you know the location, right? You can just go here there and then go to the document, CD space documents, and you can go to the documents folder. Documents should be documents. Up arrow again. You can type up arrow with the hand without lacing in. Up arrow, yeah. Put additional S and press enter. Now we are in the documents. You can type dir command to see what are there. Dir. Enter and you can see the content there. Now you know the file name. The Python file is like okay, hello.py or anything. You can execute that. Just type the file name hello.py and it will execute the file. Okay, press enter and it will run the file. You can see, all right, reading everything and it's reading the file, right? Just reading the file and you can see the output. So this is how you run. So file writing also you can run like this, right? Okay, thank you. So let's go back and I'm sharing my one. Now you know how to do this, how to run this, and why it is called command line interface. Okay, CLI has minimum user interface support where you have to use keyboard inputs to handle the program, and results will be given as textual data. Results will be given as textual data. So that is the nature of CLI. GUI supports graphics, icons, menus, and symbols. It provides easy to use interface. It provides easy to use interface. It provides easy to use interface which support both keyboard and pointing devices. It will support keyboard and pointing devices both. Right? You can use keyboard and mouse in the other hand, because more features are there in the CLI. So please write down this. Okay.
No, sir.
Right. Let's see. So we are normally using Tinker. So there's sorry, I misspelled. So we are using Python. For GUI, we are using Python. Sorry. Kinter, T-Kinter, whatever. So you can say Kinter, Python Kinter library, right? But with the T, silent T, you can say Python Kinter library. So this is what we are going to use for that. So this part would like to add to the node. It's easy to copy, so I'll add that to the node, right? So this is the library, so which is used for, you can write down that as well. This is the library we are going to use for GUI programming, and let's see how to write a program using this. First, add this to the node and let's write a small GUI application and see how it works. Okay, I hope you finished writing. Now let's create a application and see how it's working, right? Okay, I'm going to use the same ideally. So first of all, I have to import the library, right? So let's take a new file. And you can see whether the importing happens, whether that import it's there. So if you are getting no errors, then So you have the library. You can check that first, whether that importing happens. Right, let's create a small window first. So you can use any name, W or whatever, and you can call TK. So this TKINTER dot, can call the TK function to create a small window, but that will create a window with no specific name, right? So write this and see whether you are getting a window. You have to call, or you can just shorten this if you feel this name is too long. What you can do is you can shorten this. Make a short. So let's do that. And so I'm going to write this here. Import TK as, let's say, TK. And you can say W equal TK dot TK is the function or the constructor for that. So that will create a window. Right, that is another way of doing that. And let me save the file as GUI example.py, and let's run this file and you can see the window there. So that is another way of doing that, right? So you can try this. Let me know whether you are getting the results and whether you are getting any errors. So maybe the window that you are getting is related to Windows, right? The close button and all the buttons will be there in the other side. Okay, is it working or any issues?
Working, sir.
It's writing. Oh, working.
Working, sir.
Right, okay. So let's add a label now. So I want to add a label now. So let's add a label. So you can create a label and add. So you can here in this one also, when you open the bracket, you can see stream name, base name, class. Here some parameters can be seen. So, okay, let's say stream name, I'm going to give hello world. Hello world, and close this. And when you run this now, let's run the file, run module, and now you can see right here, sorry, a named window. Let's use something like this, just rather than creating like this. So let's create the window and pack it, and then use the main loop function to run this. I'm going to do it in a different way. Right, okay, let's create a label first. Let's create a label first and add to. I'm going to create a label. The label is, let's say, hello. And I'm going to create small label now. TK is my library, and I'm calling the label function. In the label function, I'm going to use the text for this label as hello world. Then let's pack this. That can do by hello.pack. Then run the window. That is TK main loop. Let's run like this. Okay, it's running here. Now you can see here, hello world, but it will be like, it will take the minimum size, right? Because still we have not given any width and height, it will take the minimum size. Okay, likewise, you can show a message also using a label. Just try that as well. Ekak try කරන්නකෝ. Right, okay. So let's say text is again same, hello world. And you can give multiple properties. So other than the text, multiple properties like background color, foreground color. Let's give width and height, everything. So foreground color is like FG, and you can give the foreground color. Let's say font color is yellow, and let's give the background color BG. Background color as yellow, black background, and also a width and height. Width is, let's say, 100 pixels, 200 pixels, and height is 50 pixels. No need to quote, this is a number. No? Height is 50 pixels. Okay, let's create a label like this now, and I'm going to add that to the, I'm going to pack that and then the main loop. So let's run this, and you can see now you have more features. Yellow, sorry, my misspellings. You have to give the exact correct spellings, right? Otherwise it will be struggling. Okay, seems okay. Right, running now, and you can see the width. I have added a big, so it's taken, and now you can see the hello world message in the middle. Okay, so width is like, so let's say width is 10 and height is 10. What has happened? Why that much of width? Right, 10, 10. It's not by the pixels, it seems, right? Width and height is taken by the columns and the rows. Right, let's say height 1. It's not pixels, right? It's rows. That's why it's bigger. Yeah, height 1 is 1 line. So height 2, then it will be 2 lines. Height 10 will be 10 lines. With 30, with 50 will be 50 characters. So let's put 50 and 10. Otherwise, we'll get a large window. Right, 50 and 10. Now you can see. Okay, just run it and see. Different color, put some different color and see. And button function, similar to label function, you can use the button function. So try to add button also. Maybe get them a button. So you can use tk.button and then add a button. So similar to that, you can give the text with height, background, foreground, and see, try to add a button too. Similar to this way, try to add a button. Okay. Okay. I'm going to try for text input. Now you can see how button is added and how a label is added. Just give me a second.
So it's not working.
Did you ask any question? Hello.
So it's not working.
It's not working. Your one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's try. So can you share the screen? I'll stop my one and can you share the screen? Okay, button TK capital B. Button capital B. So that's there. That should work now because it's a class. When you're calling a class, a function, so it should be the capital simple matters, right? Yeah, it should work now. When you run it, and you'll see that. Okay, you're seeing that both, right? The first one, second one is clickable, right? That's the difference. Second one is clickable. It's a button. You can click, but label you can't click. Okay, let's add a. All right, let's add the text entry now. So there are two ways of adding. So one is you can say text, right? One is you can say text. So let's say my txt is equal to tk dot text. So that is one way of adding the text, and you can pack it. My txt dot pack. So to pack the text. So that is one method. You can see how it's packed. So this is a text box where you can type right there. So after that, you can call different method like, okay, so for example, let's try with the terminal. Or you can call the get text method. Get text, get method to get whatever the input given here. But text box is like quite larger, right? So this is like a text area. But if you need a smaller one, so you can call entry. So this is like larger. So I'm going to call entry to get a small one. Entry. Okay, let's say now, let's see. Okay, I'm getting it. And you can see here, this is smaller, right? It's a cute one. Smaller, but text, it's a larger one. It's like text area, but this is a text box. You can type in it. Try to enter that as well. And let's write a small program to insert the labels and insert text, and then to do something using a button, right? Okay, before that, please try with these elements. Try to get the text element, then the entry element, both. Okay, so I think it's enough now. Or still trying? Are you still doing? No.
Finish, sir.
Finished. Okay. So let's do like, let's add two. So let's write small program to add two numbers, right? Maybe add first name and the last name. To do that, actually, I'm going to use. So this. So what do you think? This packing. If you take this packing is just adding one after another. It's not nice. So you can use a grid, right? You can use a grid to do better alignment of this text. Okay, let me write small program. And what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to, okay, I'll take a new file, new file. In this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a grid layout, and I'm going to like put everything in a grid where you can see this nicely, similar to the user interfaces that we see. Right, I'm going to import everything from Tinker, Tinter. Always I'm reading as Tinker, right? So I'm going to import everything, import asterisk. So then I don't want to import one by one. And then also when I import everything, I don't need to call this again and again. So I can just, right. Then I'm going to create a window that is my window is TK function. Will create the window. Window. Okay, just follow me. Then right, then I'm going to call these call a function. Call a function basically that is to keep this keep this that is to add these values. That is similar to the one we did already. Right, you can define a function def, let's say add nums, if you want add nums or something, that is to add the numbers that we are going to give, and that will basically having number one, n1 and n2, and those n1 and n2 will be added and results will be given. Then I want to return int n1 plus int n2, and that is my function. It's a very simple one, right? So please create the window and the function. It will do nothing, right? I just need to add the components also. Okay. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep a function like my text or text. Let's say I'm going to assign a reference, my text. Oh, sorry. My text is just Google it. That function that is equal to special function from the Tinker, that is string variable or string var. Please note the capital and simple thing. String var is the function which is going to be stored there in the my text, and I'm going to create a label. So you can create label like this. So tk.label, that is also okay, but I have not defined that as tk. That's why I'm just writing this. Everything will be related to Tinker. So label, and so label should be belongs to this window that I have to give first. Label should be belongs to the window, Control V. And text of the label, let's say you are going to tell enter first number, enter first number, and that is the label text. And then to where we are going to insert this number. So I'm going to use a grid, as I say. In the grid, I'm going to use the first row. First row is row 0. And I'm going to give it a special parameter. I'm going to stick that using sticky equal W mode. That is to keep that label in that grid. Stick that label into the particular grid item. Then the second label, I need another label. Let's copy the line. This is the second label that I'm going to enter second number. And that is grid row 1 And I need the result also in a label, that is label 3. That is also belong to the window, and that is the answer. Answer also there, it should be there in the grid row. You can write row 2. Well, let's skip another one. Let's skip one row and write into the row 3. එකක් අතහැරලියමු, පොඩි gap එකක් තියමු. Okay, I'm going to show the result of this. Result is equal to label, and that is coming to the window. No need to give a text there, just a blank one. And the text variable is the variable here, my text. Text variable is my text. And in the grid, so that's going to be in the row 3 and column 1. And just sticky. I'll explain this, right? So first of all, please write. I'll explain how it happens and how this will be displayed. And I need some inputs. So let's say input 1 in 1 is it's an entry. I have to use entry, which is belong to the same window. And input 2 is also, or number 1, I can say number 1. Number 1 is this, and number 2 is also entry. Now I have 2 entries, number 1 and number 2. Then I can put into the grid. So that is number 1, I'm going to put into the grid, and that is basically row 0, yes, row 0, column should be 1, row 0, column 1, and then the number 2 is in the second one. That is row 1, column 1, and that is number 2. Number 1 and number 2, I'm going to place in front of the labels. Then I need a button to do that. So let's add a button. Let's say button or B, let's say B equal button. And that button is again belong to the same window. Belongs to the same window, and text. Text is, let's say, find total. Find total is the text label in the button. This label should be visible. And the command to this, I can give add nums. That is the function to be executed. We are going to bind that. This add numbers function is bound to this button. And now I'm going to insert this button to the grid, B to the grid layout, and let's put in the third 0, 1, 2 second line, row Oh yes, just put row 0. Column 2, just column 2. Row 0, column 2, and then I have to give some parameters. So this is similar to HTML, if you have learned, quite similar to that. I have to give column span is equal to 2 and row span equal to 2 and sticky value is similar to this width and honest and pad x equal to 5 and pad in y. So these are optional, right? Pad in y is equal to 5. Just give in these values and then I can run this. Main loop to run this. If no errors, this should run. So let's try to first run this. I have some error, right? But anyway, so let's run this. A small error in the function. Let's say GUI1.py. You can see when it's running, it's creating the window label. Okay, this part is okay. Second number answer, that is also okay. There are some mistakes. What is that? That is not the one that I expect. Grid. I have given grid. Okay, just run this again. Okay, now you can see. First number, second number, okay, align pair. This is right. This is why we have given this call span. So I just wanted to put this in front of, so as the window. Not here. I just wanted to put this in front of, right? I could have given in the third one, right? So simply, so rather than giving row 0, I could have given in the, that's why I have given column span 2, row span 2. I'm asking to merge 2 columns, 2 rows, merge 2 rows and 2 columns. But without giving that, I could have given something like this, and so some maybe row 3, row 2, and but that might mess up. So let's see. Let's try to give in that way. I want to give in the row 2, and without this, just run this row 2, and I have to give the row 2 columns. Let's keep it right here. You can give as this, right? So this is I said that I have a small mistake there. The parameters and all, without giving parameters, I have to give the values directly, because here I have called this function without any parameters. Just give the command. So without giving the parameters, I have to give the value without a returning function. That's the error. But anyway, you can position it here, right? If you want. So whatever you like. So I have placed in the second row. Oh, I can put it in front. So just to learn some more, just use this call span, row span means just merge into 2 columns. 2 call span 1 is also enough. No, it's merging 2 columns. No, again, then that will be error. Yeah, it will come down there. I have to span two words, span into the 2 rows and 2 columns, 2 column size, 2 row size. This is west, east, north, and south, right? West, east, north, and south. Just balance it with padding 5, padding 5. West, east, north, and south. With padding 5, padding 5, pad x5, and so you can just put padding pad x10 and see then these all are coming in the interface designing. I just wanted to do this quickly, and that's why I just do this example. And now we can see if I give this padding next to 10, so it's not this one. Have we saved this here? It should be row 0, column 2. Right, you can see padding x, if I increase, it will increase the x value, x gap. So padding, let's say padding, I'm just putting some more value like 50. Then you can see this clearly. Let's run this. And now you can see the gap between this x, this and this and this is 50 pixels. Padding 5y means gap between this and this, it's only 5 pixels. So maybe I can put to nicely show this, I can put padding y, let's put 10 pixels padding y, and padding x is only 10 pixels. Okay, and some gap to this in front of and the end. If you want some background color also, BK, let's give black, FG white, save it. I'm doing this until you are doing this, you are finishing this one, right? What is unknown option? BK, BG, so BG. Okay, so you can see my one is not getting this black color. I don't know why. So because this is simple. Still not. You got the black color, no? For the button. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You got the black color for the button, but in my one I'm not getting it, so I don't know. You wrote the same code, no?
Yes, sir, but I'm still doing.
Which one? Previous one? This one?
I'm still writing codes.
Oh. FG yellow, BG black. Previously also I have given that, but some error. FG white, let's change the order, but that doesn't matter. FG white, BG green. Save and run this. Still I'm getting this. So why is that? Okay, just write it. Just write the code. I'll explain how to edit the function, right? First write this. Right, okay. Okay, you are getting it, but unfortunately in my case, I'm not getting the background colors. Don't know the reason. So just close it, okay? Just close it, but because this won't work there's an error in the function, not error, but we have to assign this directly. Just remove the parameters in addNum function. Just remove the parameters in addNum, n1 and n2, just remove it. And instead of n1 and n2, so you can directly call this number1 dot get inside the brackets, int, inside this int, this one. So I'm just showing this arrow, please edit this, yes. Number1, no1, this grid, this is entry, no1, no1, just no1, number1 dot get function to get the value. And the brackets, function has a bracket, right? 2 brackets, open and closing. Just open and close it, similar to string var. No, similar to what you did here. So when you run a function, you have to call the brackets. All right, okay. So then here, the second one also the same. no2 dot get. Then the brackets again. Okay, then here, instead of return, just use a variable. Maybe res or result something. Results equal this. Results equal this. And then in the second line of that, go to the second line of that function. No, second line of that function. Just press enter after going to the end of this line. Press enter after going to the end of this line, and you have to set this results. Set this result to this one, right? You can say my text dot set, and you can give this result. Inside that, the results, within brackets, you can give the results. Okay, see here how I have done that. Set, then this value, the result should be given. Right, now run and see whether you can see. In my one, I'm not getting the backgrounds, don't know why. Okay, you can share with it. You can share the one and show me whether there are errors or not. It's running, no? Just run it. Okay, enter some numbers and some other number. Okay, find total. Let's get in the total, right? Okay. So we have not handled the error. That means if you have given a, so just give blank to 1, empty then. Just put empty. Just erase something. Okay, now calculate, find the total. And now you can see it's generating error, right? Because it's not converting that value. But don't worry, you can still run the program. You can run, put some other. This is, you are getting this in the background. Now you can put some value and find total again, and it will recalculate. Yes, then find total and it will recalculate. Right, you cannot see the error, but that you can make that error silent by handling the errors. Still, we have not done up to that extent, the error handling and all. But this is how basically you create a basic GUI application using Python. So this Python, so it's, you see, right? Now go line by line and I'll explain the lines. Just cancel, close it, and go to the first line of your code. I'm going to explain that. First line is importing the library, and the second line is creating the, yes, that is importing the library. Then that is creating the window. The third line is doing the calculation part, that is adding, getting the values from these entries and setting it to the label, right? Then my string is a, it's string variable. You are defining a string variable this way. Later you can assign this variable to a, later here you have assigned this to here. the text variable. Whatever you have declared, you have assigned this to text variable later. That means you are not putting the value to that label. You keep it empty. The results of this will be given by this. So when you run this command, right, in this button, when you click and run this, it will directly call this function. And this function will set the results. That results will be populated here. So that is the meaning. So I'm again telling you, right, let me repeat. When you click this button, right, when you click this button, it will call this function. This function will get entries from this and this. That means text values from this and this, and add and set result to this variable. When you set this to this variable, it will assign the text variable of this label. That's how this label is updated. Understood? When you call the addNum function, addNum will get entries and calculate the total and set to the variable. That variable is referencing this label. So the value of that will be assigned to this label by that. And here, grid 0, row 0, and sticking to the west. West means what is the side? You know 4 sides. Right? West means which side? Okay, if I draw arrows, which is west, which is east, which is south, and which is north. Right? West means this side, right? West means this side. You stick into the west. This label you stick into the west. This row 1 you stick into the west. This one also you stick into the west. That means your left side. And the last one is also you are sticking to the west, left side. And here the button you are just balancing with the west, east, north, and south. Sticking to the, so it's sticking to all, but just align into that, centering it in the west, east, north, south by giving padding 10. Padding 10 means the gap between the button and the text will be 10. Padding Y is gap between the top and bottom. Right. Is there anything else that you want to, not clear to you? Is there anything else that is not clear to you? You can ask now. Yes. If I give you a program, if I ask you to, okay, maybe you can do like this. You can try to enhance this so we have done few, right? We have done few. When enter the NIC, so I think we have done that. When enter the NIC to find the date of birth. Can you develop Python application? Right? Try to do that. When enter the NIC, when someone enter the NIC, you have to show the date of birth. Right? Okay. So do you have any doubts up to now?
Sir, in which code we make that box, that find total box?
Which box?
That find total box.
Find
Total.
Find total of what? So your question is not clear. Find total. Yeah, just run it. Okay. Yes,
Yes.
find total. That button.
Yes.
That button is created here, Bhuti. Here. Can you see the green line? Second one, right? Not the first one. So let's mark. This is the find total button. And this is how you align the find total button to the grids. This is how, so there are different layouts. So we first discuss about the flow layout, not flow layout actually. So what was the layout we were discussing is basically So let's move. And in the previous code, we have discussed some other layout. That layout is adding to the bottom. So that is this one. Okay, these are different layouts, right? Let's open recent. So this is example. Okay, here pack will add to the bottom, and grid will add. So grid is like a table. It's adding to the virtual table. That is another layout. That is easier way. And you have some other layout that you can add frames, and you can place things in the frames. That is another layout. But in real, so basically in GUI supportive IDLE, so there are IDLEs. So Python GUI IDE. If you change search here, GUI frameworks for Python. So you'll get some, right? Here Kiwi, PyQt, right? So PyGUI, WX Python. So there are many, right? So you can see what are they. So let's say WX Python. In WX Python, you can see something like this. You can add, so you can see. So interfaces, you can just drag and add the labels, buttons, right? Likewise, though, you can add shapes. So here panels and all you can add to the. So this is one thing, and no need to manually create, right? That's what I'm saying. So this is another one, PyGUI. This is another one, so which can be used to generate interfaces. Here you can see, you can basically drag and drop these controls, right? Then automatically this layouts and everything will be created. You can drag and drop. If you need a text box, you can drag and drop. Wow, C# have you done C# programming before?
Yes.
C#, no. Okay, let's learn in the next session, so we can learn that. And you can just drag and drop the controls. No need to manually get. This is actually in this example we saw how to manually get this. But in real programming, no need to manually get all these things and align to the grid and series. So we just show how to build from the scratch. But rather than doing that, you can use simple drag and drop operation to hold. Right? For Kinto also, there's a GUI, right? Here. You have GUI for Kinto also. So Kinto GUI tool. Let's search. Here, Visual Kinto. You can use Visual Kinto. And when you're using Visual Kinto, you can just drag and drop the content like this. Here. You can drag and drop frames, buttons, canvas, label. So all are pre-created. You can drag and drop. So these components. Here another one. This is what? PY GUBU, a GUI builder for Python. This is another one. This is for Mac OS. Right? So likewise, there are different GUI builders. Drag and drop. So this is. I think I have to go and download and install this. This is the one. Yeah, I have to go and just installation, pip install. 2. After that, it is for Python 2.7. 2.7 version. My version is not supported. Right. I'll next day I'll show you how to use a GUI application today. Actually, I have not checked for any GUI solutions, but next day I'll show you a GUI builder for this. Right. Okay.